Hey, all you cinema buffs out there, my name's Dennis Stack, and I'm bringing you my review of the new World War II epic, Dunkirk. Now, Dunkirk was written and directed by Christopher Nolan, and I'll just throw a quick disclaimer out. Christopher Nolan is one of my favorite filmmakers working today. I'm a big fan of his, but don't confuse me for what the internet likes to call a fanboy. I don't think every movie he makes is perfect because he's a perfect filmmaker. I think every movie he makes is of high quality because he's a high quality filmmaker. So going into this movie, I didn't really know what to expect. I had a lot of high hopes for it because not only do I love World War II movies, it's good to finally see a World War II movie where there's absolutely no American involvement. This takes place in 1940, so long before Pearl Harbor and, the U.S. joined the Allies in World War II. And this is about the true story of how the German forces had the French and English armies backed up to the English Channel, and they're getting attacked by the Germans, picking them off on this beach that they made them retreat to. And so civilians, all the Royal Navy, anything that could help and come get these people and save them and bring them back to England, all these people came out. And this movie, first of all, I want to talk about the structure of this movie. This movie is broken into three perspectives of land, sea, and air. And I want to warn you guys that they take place over different timelines. At first, it kind of confused me. Like, at one point, it was at night, and then they went back to another scene, and it was like 2 minutes after what that happened. The air battle takes place over an hour, the sea takes place over a day, and the land battle takes place over a week. So, go into the movie knowing that you're going to deal with some jumbled timelines, but this movie still flows together despite that jumbled timeline. And I think that just shows to, how good of a filmmaker Christopher Nolan really is. And speaking of his craft and the way he goes about making a film, this guy stresses practical effects more than anybody. He got these old relic warships up and working again to make this movie. And I just appreciate that in a world today where we're just kind of showered with CGI in every big blockbuster movie. I can't even think of a moment where there might have been CGI in this film. And and also with everything with Christopher Nolan, I think that just everything technically that he does in film is sound. It's beautifully shot. Hans Zimmer, he scores every single one of his movies, and he always turns out something great. And it's very skillfully edited, too, especially this movie. It kind of reminded me of Memento a little bit. How Memento, you're starting at two opposite ends of the storyline, and then you come to the middle. Sorry if you haven't seen Memento yet, but if you haven't, what's the matter with you? But with this one, it's an hour, a day, a week. But they all interlock, and they all culminate to the end. And the climax, where you get to see it from different perspectives as it goes along. And I think that really helps service the movie and really immersing you in this experience. If you have an IMAX theater near you, please go see this in IMAX. See it on the biggest screen with the loudest sound possible. It totally immerses you in it. You feel like you're in a dogfight at one moment. You feel like you're sinking in a ship, which is a big fear for me. I hate the ocean. And then you feel like, you're in the trenches as well. I think that this is a fully immersive film experience, and it's one of those rare things that we don't really get to see a lot in the movie theaters these days. Sometimes, it's easy for a movie to take you out, whether it's something you don't like in the movie, someone you don't like in the movie, some idiot in the theater on their phone. I get it. It's hard to be, it's easy to be taken out of a movie these days, but Dunkirk, I dare you to get taken out of this experience. However, as with every movie, it has its flaws, and Dunkirk has its share. I will say this, even though this is one of Christopher Nolan's shortest movies, I think it's like an hour 45, there are parts where it did feel a little long. Now, usually that works when, you're trying to build tension, and I saw a video with Quentin Tarantino where he said that building tension is like stretching a rubber band as far as you can until it snaps. And I think that at this time it just takes a little too long to stretch the rubber band. But when the tension gets going, your heart's running, and you're grabbing onto the edge of your seat, and you're getting ready for the big event and all these battles, just these waves of attacks. But however, the acting is very serviceable. Nobody really stands out. You got a couple of Oscar nominees between Mark Rylance, Tom Hardy, Kenneth Branagh, but it's just nobody really stood out. Nobody's bad in the movie. Nobody acts bad. Even the guy from One Direction, he did a fine job. But it's just that there wasn't anything stand out. And another problem I have with the movie, it's kind of a problem I have with all of Nolan's movies, is that it takes like 10, 15 minutes to end. It's like the climax is over, and then you just got to carry out all this story. And yeah, sometimes, you know, it's a theme and it brings emotion and everything. And this movie does achieve that. But there was a part of me where it's like, all right, Nolan, I know you like to drag out this resolution, but come on, man. Let's roll those credits.
Buffs.
All in all, guys, I really enjoyed Dunkirk. I love how this movie got so much done with so little dialogue. You knew what was going on. You knew what was at stake. Even though, and especially something I've been dealing with movies lately, where it's somebody's an exposition machine, just talking out backstory left and right. There's absolutely none of that in here. This movie does have its flaws, but it's an experience. Go see it in IMAX. Go have fun. And I'm going to give this one a pretty good score of an 8 out of 10.
Buffs.
Alright, so that's it for my review of Dunkirk. What you guys think of the movie? What do you think about World War II movies in general? Go ahead, leave all your comments down below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate all the love here at Cinema Buffs. And be sure to join us next week when me and Nate are back together again reviewing Atomic Blonde. We'll see if Charlize Theron can really be the next female John Wick. But until then, don't you forget, there's no place like the theater.